Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to 180 Block Pass. Round 3 has concluded. In this video, we're going to go over the 250 class, and we'll do another video on 450 class. If you want to check that out, there will be a link in the description. So let's get started. All right, so right out of the gate, we had Coty Schock with the hole shot, Joe Shomida, broken fingers and all. Right behind him, Wash, Turner, and Smith. And in 6th, we had Cole Davies. It didn't take long. Cole Davies passed Jordan Smith. Turner and Wash started going down in the ranks. Joe Shomida holding on. Cole Davies trying to get that spot from Joe, and Joe closed the door on him. Cole Davies went a little high in the berm, ended up slinging out that back tire, hitting a tough block, but unfortunately, it did not affect him. He just kept on going. So as you know, there's 5 minutes and 1 lap in a heat race, and we're about halfway through, 2 minutes, 53 seconds. Wash is down in 7th place. Smith passed Turner, which placed him in 4th. So in this part in the race, we got Drew Adams in 6th place. He is a replacement rider on the Kawasaki team, and he's only 16 years old, and he is making a name. He said, "Put me in, coach," and now he's in. He did have to prove himself to the Kawasaki team owner, and I guess he proved himself well, and he was in the top 10 the entire day. So that is definitely something to note. I think he'll be a threat in the seasons to come. The goal right now is for him just to make it through. They got enough people on the bench due to injuries, and I think he's doing a fantastic job. And this just means that the future of racing is looking bright, my friends. Drew Adams passed Turner right there at the first turn after the straightaway at the 38-second marker. Then we have 2 laps to go, and we have Cole Davies and Coty Schock battling for that first position. Cole Davies could not get it done. Schock kept shutting the door on him and shut it on him on the last turn, getting that checkered flag. So the final results for Heat 1 250 class goes as follows. Coty Schock keeping that first position, as we already stated. Then we have Cole Davies, Jordan Smith, Joe Shomida end up in 4th. He did stay up there in the top 5 during that whole race, which is something to note for the future. When that hand gets better, he is going to be a threat. Then we have 16-year-old Drew Adams ending in 5th place. I think Kawasaki is going to be super stoked about that. And right behind him, we have Turner. Wash, who started out 3rd, ended up placing 7th. And someone that is usually up there at the top, Gavin Towers, ended up in 11th, going to the LCQ. And that concludes Heat 1. Let's go on to Heat 2, where we had Deageen and Julian kind of going at it there at the beginning, which was great. A little bit of track drama, but luckily it stayed on the track. Everyone's sportsmanship is looking great right now. There's a little uprise, I think, which I'm a fan of. I do think the 450 class went through some growing pains last few seasons, and they're just grateful to be racing with the best and having a blast and seeing what they can do. And I think it's rubbing off on the 250s, because let's just be real, these guys look up to these 450 guys. Yes, they want to race them someday. They want to be competitive, but at the end of the day, the 450 guys have been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and it's just something that I've noticed, and I kind of wanted to point out. But like I said, let's go over Heat 2 so we can see just what I'm talking about. All right, so right out of the gate, we had Julian Beaumere with the hole shot. Michael Mosman right behind him. We had Yoder Deegan, which Deegan passed Yoder there really quickly. We had Enzo Lopes in 5th. So if you're a Brazilian person out there, he is your guy. He is from Brazil. Ross in 6th. Jet Reynolds in 7th. Bordon in 8th. And 9th, Gordon. We got Deegan, -2 seconds down from 1st place at the beginning of the race. Now we have 2 minutes and 48 seconds to go, and we have Lopes past Yoder. Shortly after that, I said out loud, I said, Deegan is out for blood. Like, he wants to win this thing. And I swear to you, right after I said that, we had that whole episode of him riding Julian up on the berm, doing the look back, Julian falling down. Hadien is in the clear, makes a huge mistake on that next rhythm lane. I think it was a rhythm. I don't really remember. I was already like, whoa, screaming. And then that happened, and I was like, oh my gosh. But he was fine, saved it. All the announcers was like, how did he save that? No, he saved it because he didn't want to go down, and he was bound and determined to get that flag and get that gate pick and ultimately win the night. So we had Deegan leading the race now. Mosman's still there in 2nd, Julian in 3rd. Lopes has now made his way up to 4th after being in 5th. With the rest of the pack pretty much staying in the positions that they were already in, we had Ross there in 6th, Jet in 7th, and in 8th we had Bordon. The only thing that changed was that 9th position. Now we have Albright, who took that spot from Mr. Gordon. But as we know, Julian made a mistake out there with the flags going. He was not supposed to jump, and he did. So that docked him 2 positions, but it didn't cost him any points. because it was just a heat race. It only cost him position, which, as we saw in the main, did not really affect him. That leads us to our 250 LCQ. There was some serious carnage out there on that starting gate for the LCQ. We had a crash there in the middle, and then once they started to hit the turn on the outside, we had another crash. We had Nico out there in second at the beginning of the race, and then he ended up washing out there on the 90 degree. I know that it was slick right there. There was a lot of people kind of washing out that back tire, but he fell down and he was not in a hurry to get up. He pretty much called it a day, it seemed like, on that point, which I was kind of like, come on, dude, get up, like, go. You never know what's going to happen. And, you know, I'm not there. It's not me, so I can say what I want to say all day long. But I just kind of personally was disappointed in that, because when I grew up playing sports, like, you don't quit until it's over. Like, you get up and go. Like, I don't care. I mean, I grew up playing softball, and you hear that bat hit the ball and you hear a ding. It don't matter if you think it's a foul or not. You run through that first baseline, like, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. And so that's just a pet peeve of mine, is you get up and go. And so that's something I kind of was like, come on, dude. But I get it. Like, the chances were slim, but there is always hope. You never know what's going to happen. We had Billy take a hard fall. He was doing great. Got a little crazy in the whoops. Started drifting off there to the left, I guess it would be. And he fell. It didn't seem like he fell that hard, but he was riding with bruised ribs and he was in pain. So he ended up dropping out, which kind of was like, oh, that sucks. But he was there. I think once he heals up, he's doing really well, and we'll see him up there on the board. Hopefully see him in a main. So there at the end, we had Towers go from third to first. Farzy in second. Preston dropped down to third position. We're not even going to try like we can say his last name. And in fourth for his first main, another guy that I forgot how to say his name. Jurian. What's his first name? Colin. And that's all she wrote for the 250 LCQ. Let's go on and move to the main. So at the beginning, we had a little bit of rain start to show up. Hadien Deegan had the whole shot. Julian Beaumere pretty much right behind him, trying to get in that first slot there quickly at the beginning of the race. Hadien shut it down and stayed up in front for the rest of the duration. Juju ended up being about 5 seconds behind Hadien. At this point, we had Jordan Smith in third, Cole Davies out there in fourth, Schock, Joe Shomida hanging on in sixth place at the beginning, Ross, Adams, Bourdon, and Yoder. Coty Schock was in front of Davies there for a little bit, but Davies was able to pass him up on that big jump at the starting line, the little tunnel jump thing that we've all been talking about. He was able to get him right before then, ended up swooping past him and stayed up there. Now he's in fourth. Drew Adams out there in eighth, stays in eighth, ends up getting the top 10 for his first race. I don't think anybody's disappointed about that one. And then, of course, on the final lap, Jordan Smith was in third, about to get that podium spot, and he went down. That was a grab your face no moment, but it did put Cole Davies out there on the podium for his first main event, and I think he was excited about that. It was fun seeing him in the press. If you don't know, there's some kind of chocolate bar that we're all supposed to try. So because I've lived in Germany before, I feel like I've had what he's talking about, but I'd have to see a picture, and I have no idea how to spell that. So maybe we'll find that somewhere. And can I just say, I think everybody wants the mullet to come back. I heard that he had to cut it. That Yamaha said cut it. But I know he's not American and all, but that's very American, okay? And there's a lot of, yes, there's a lot of California people that love this sport, but there's a lot of rednecks that love it too. So I think the rednecks are a little upset about that one. So let's bring the mullet back. And let's get a chocolate bar sponsorship. Why not? So we had up there on the podium after the races, Deageen says, you don't want to piss me off because I'll come out swinging. I think Deageen was coming out swinging before. I don't really know what was going on, but during the press conference, questions and answers, everyone seemed to be in good spirits and good sportsmanship and just was having fun, being competitive and racing. I've already mentioned it, but that was great to see. I will say Julian is all business up there. That boy needs a suit and tie. I know he's been dressing funny, and I guess that's what he does during the week. He finds something to wear for the next race, so we'll see what that's about. I need to go looking for pictures. Let's see if I can find some pictures. He had some tiger pants on, so I don't know. I'm not into that. That's too much for me, but to each their own. So that concludes the 250 class, round 3, Anaheim 2. They will move on to Arizona and Glendale for the next round. After that, we go to Tampa. So the East Coast will be racing and the West Coast will be taking a break. I do want to point out that Glendale will be a Triple Crown. And after that, they're going to have 6 races to go. I want to say we have 3 East Coast, West Coast showdowns throughout this year, and that will be amazing to watch. So the season is just getting started, but for the 250 class, we're going to start settling in here at the next race, I think. And I do not think that we will be disappointed. So we will see you next week at Glendale.